the 8 finalists here at the NCAA Championship, 3-meter diving, as we get set for the final 2 rounds. And we're going to join Doris Easterly. After 9 dives, she is in 3rd place, just 1 point out of 2nd. She has been a surprise.
Well, she had a tough time in the preliminaries. She almost didn't make these finals. She was the last qualifier. She was 8th place after the prelims and semifinals. But she's had a pretty good final up until this point. They've done 4 of their final dives already. And she is 1 point behind 2nd and just barely holding on to 3rd because the 4th place person is only 1 point behind her. Her dive is a reverse 1.5 with 2.5 twist. It's her highest degree of difficulty dive, 2.9. She did a good job going in the water straight on this dive, but as she came off the diving board, she bent her knees just slightly, and there will be a little bit of a deduction for this break there. Right as she came off the diving board, just a little break in the knees. But the dive is done well above the diving board, so it's nice height, but there would be a flaw because of that little break.
Mostly 6s, 52.20 is the score. Here now is Dorte Lindner. She's 5'5", a sophomore, grew up in Weingarten, Germany, currently in 4th place. A member of the 1996 German national team, but did not compete in Atlanta because of an illness.
Actually, it was her back. She had a very bad back, almost had surgery, and at the last minute decided against surgery in 1996. A very strong jump off the diving board, but it moves a little bit too far out in the middle of the pool. The trajectory is so important in diving. You have to be proper distance from the diving board, or it's difficult to make the rotations. And we see as she moves through the air, she's moving further and further away from the diving board. That makes it difficult for her to complete the 1.5 somersault there. There will be a deduction for that.
52.20, a 5 up to 6. Here is the 5'5" freshman from the University of Texas, Laura Wilkinson, currently in 2nd place. She needs a big dive.
She needs a big dive because this is a low degree of difficulty dive for her. She needs to receive 7.5s or above to stay in the top 3. A very beautiful back 1.5, but just with 1.5 twists. That's why it's a lower 2.4 degree of difficulty. And as she leaves the board, she wraps up the twist, stays very tight in the knees. That's gorgeous. Looks at the water, grabs her hands, goes in without much splash. This is a very well-performed dive, but it's more of a basic dive than it is a difficult optional dive.
Well, she got 7s and some 7.5s, a total of 50.4. And here is our leader, Vera Ilyina, 23-year-old from Moscow, Russia. She's 5'3", 112 pounds, and a terrific diver.
Overwhelming favorite. She has been winning competitions since she went to the University of Texas in January by 50 points plus. She's the 1-meter winner, and I expect her to win the 3-meter this event also. She was 7th place in Barcelona Olympics, 6th place in Barcelona, 7th in Atlanta, and I think she's a better diver now than she was in Atlanta in the Olympic Games. Her 10th round dive is a forward 3.5 somersault tuck. She's the only woman doing a 3.5 somersault, a forward 3.5 somersault in this contest. It is a very difficult dive. It carries a 2.8 degree of difficulty, but most of the women do a 2.5 somersault, not a 3.5, and she's already got a huge lead, over 50 points on the field. Oh, it's a little short of vertical. She's having a little trouble getting the rotations completed this evening in this final. It's still enough to keep her well in 1st place, but this dive was very beautiful on the end of the diving board. But look, she leaves the dive short of vertical. She kicks out too early. As she comes off the diving board, the dive is perfect. Look, her knees are together, the tuck is beautiful, but she goes in the water without hitting the vertical position as an entry.
Judges agree, all 6s for Vera Ilyina. Here's a look at our leaders after 10 dives. Vera Ilyina from Texas, the leader. Doris Easterly in 2nd, and Laura Wilkinson has moved into 3rd. Start of the final round. Doris Easterly, the junior from Miami. And the pressure on her right now, currently in 2nd place.
Her last dive is a back 1.5 somersault with 2.5 twists. It is such a tight race right now. She is in second, but third place is less than 1 point behind her. So is fourth place. She's going to have to wait and see what everybody else does. So she's in a position to put pressure on the divers that follow her. And again, as she comes off the diving board on this twisting dive, she has just a little bit of bend in her knees. And that's the only thing I really see that the judges would take off an entire point for, because she does a good job otherwise. A little bit too much splash going in the water, but that would keep her from getting the 8s.
58.80 for Doris Easterly. So now she sits and waits. Dorte Lindner's final dive. She's in fourth place, but less than a point out of third.
Actually, out of second place, she's less than a point. So she's doing 1/10 degree of difficulty less than Doris Easterly. She needs 8s and above to expect to be a second place contender. She needs those 8s and some 8.5s also if she wants to beat Doris Easterly. Oh no, that won't work. Her hips went back from the diving board. She was very low as she came out of the tuck position. It's an inward 2.5 somersault. And it's not all that difficult to dive, but look how far away she is from the diving board, and she goes in the water with a pike, a bend at the waist. That's what a pike position is, just a bend at the waist with the legs straight. So that is a deficient dive.
Scores for her ranging from 5.5 to 6.5, a 48.60. Here is Texas's Laura Wilkinson. She's currently in third place. If she gets 59.15, she needs a big dive and she can move right into second place.
Well, I love this contest because it's so tight for second place right now. Laura Wilkinson's teammate, Vera Ilyina, is winning. She would like nothing more than to take second alongside Vera Ilyna. That's a great dive. 7.5s will give her second place over Doris Easterly. She has to get mostly 7.5s. It's not gonna be enough because she twisted. She crossed her feet in that twist. She crossed her feet. I thought it was really good until I saw the feet cross. Look at that. In the twist, she loses her feet. They separate a bit and then cross. She's going to get more 6.5s than she is 7s.
So disappointing scores for Laura Wilkinson, still having a great competition. And now Vera Ilyna.
Her last dive I consider to be her best dive. I love watching her do this dive. It's very smooth. It's a reverse 1.5 somersault with 2.5 twist. I've seen her receive 9s on it previously. It's a high degree of difficulty dive, 2.9. Matt Scoggin, her coach at the University of Texas, says he's taught her how to spot the water, which she didn't know when she came to the University of Texas. She's obviously the winner. That was a wonderful last round dive. I think it's the highest scoring dive of the night. I really like this takeoff. Look, right over the board. She's very bold. She looks at the water, and that's what Matt's taught her how to do. See the water and stretch for where she looks. And I think that is fabulous. She says she's not very good at it yet. I think she's an expert.
Vera Ilyna, big scores for the 5'3" diver originally from Moscow, Russia. You're looking at the final standings of 3-meter springboard diving. Texas's Vera Ilyna wins it going away by a whopping 59 points. Let's go down to the pool deck and Mary Waite. Mary?
Vera, being from Russia, NCAA competition has to be a little bit different for you. What is it like having swimming and diving combined?
I've never dove for the team, like the whole team, and it's like a challenge for me to dive to help everybody to win, and it's very different from what I was doing before.
As you were about to win your second NCAA title here tonight, what was going through your mind on that very last dive?
I knew that I would win very easily because I had a huge in my points, and I just needed to do my dive like I do it on practice.
And Matt, what's it like to finally have an NCAA champion for yourself?
It's great. You know, we worked really hard to get Vera to Austin. It was not easy. We went through many obstacles, and it was well worth it. Vera's a great addition to the team. She's got a great attitude, and has really helped out her teammates. Laura, as you saw, has really improved a lot because of Vera, I think.
So important team points for the University of Texas head coach Matt Scoggin and his star Vera Ilyna.